I always describe it as a prison yard style workout. We're outside.
Okay.
It's not like this state of the art facility, but it's outside, a little rugged. Bring some grit along with it, and on a flat piece of concrete, and just kind of get to work.
Hey, Kevin.
Tiffany, how we doing?
I am really happy to have you, and I'm excited to have someone. You are probably my most different guest when it comes to having somebody on the show that is in the music industry in a different facet. Like, this is going to be really interesting and
different's good.
Very different.
Yeah.
And when someone is asking you, like, what do you do? How would you describe it without saying just, I'm a personal trainer?
Yeah. I kind of made that switch. I've been in business 10 years now, and I started off saying personal trainer. I'm like, that doesn't explain what I do. I now say I run a mobile personal training business.
Okay.
That explains more, but then, like, well, all right, it kind of stops there unless they like ask questions, but I always describe it as a prison yard style workout. We're outside.
Okay.
It's not like this state of the art facility, but it's outside, a little rugged. Bring some grit along with it, and on a flat piece of concrete, and just kind of get to work. So it's, to paint the picture, that's what it.
But somewhere like Nashville, and also I know you did a lot of touring with artists, and we'll get into that.
Yep.
What do you do with like elements, like the outside elements? I mean, Nashville, we rain a lot. Obviously, we just had an ice storm. I mean, how does that work when you have an outdoor kind of workout?
Garages, that's our saving grace.
Okay.
When I onboard any lead, we gather information, then I ask them at the end, do we have a flat driveway we can work with? Yes. Do we have a garage that we can work with? Terrific, because then the weather doesn't dictate when we go. Mm-hmm. So we hop in the garage. Yeah, you feel the cold, the heat, whatever it is, the rain a little bit if it's blown in, but that keeps us out of the elements.
Sure.
Because we're not going to have equipment out in the rain and, just to get dumped on. No one's going to sign up for that. You know what I mean?
But, prison yard style workout, rain or shine, baby.
Yeah, I try to hang our hat on that a little bit, just to paint the picture a little bit, the prison yard style. And I think people who work with us, they kind of they lean into that a little bit. Yeah.
I mean, I think I know when I used to work out with a trainer, it's like the motivation part of it all that I loved is like being held accountable, and probably with the idea of the prison yard thing, you're a little intimidated, but it gets you moving. Yeah,
and I don't want it to come across as intimidating, because we work with all fitness levels, and we all coaches, team of 6 of us, we do love working with people who just start into it. Like I had a client say, you can call me virgin clay, mold me. We love working with all of it, so I mean, I don't want it to be intimidating, yet we try to bring that leadership of that though,
For sure.
But yeah.
So now talking about what, this show is all revolved around, which is the music industry.
Yeah.
And you are here in Nashville, and you work with a lot of artists.
Yep.
Obviously, you have other clients that are not in the music industry.
Yep.
But what was the door that opened that got you, because you do work with a lot of artists, and what got you into the music industry and country music specifically?
Well, my roommate worked at Red Light, and he knew I was a trainer, and he said, well, I'll just say it, Lady A was looking for a trainer to go on the road, and he knew me, so he's like, hey, would you be interested in? And my first conversation with Hillary, I just had no idea what that world consisted of. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, yeah, so what is it? You guys go on the road with 2 buses, 2 vans, or semis. And she's like, nah, 14 buses, 14. It was like a whole production. I just was so clueless of that. And it was a pretty epic experience,
Well, now talking about that, because there's so much on the road that goes with a big act like Lady A.
Yeah.
Where does your equipment fit in? Like, you were talking about how you have to find a garage, or you find things, or it's outside. Do you come with at that time, did you have your own cars and things?
On the road specifically, if I'm even using Lady A's example, it was like if you can envision a locker room where you, like a sports locker room where you put towels in it, that hamper, that was my weight cart. I broke it because I put too much weight in there. So their whole production team made me this custom cart of metal that they wheeled it into one of the semis. Every venue we got to, we wheeled it out, and I'll just wheel that sucker. If we were in an arena, on the second floor through the elevator sometimes, or if it's an amphitheater, I'd take it out and just walk the amphitheater and find my spot and then just push it there. And that's where we're going.
Wow. And how long was your first tour?
9 months. I was 26 years old. I was very enthused about it.
Wow.
I like embraced it. It was really great. And, the first weekend we were in Breckenridge, Colorado we had a few off days, and we were in this huge like mansion with like an elevator, and like it was so, I just never experienced anything like it. It was pretty overwhelming.
Yeah.
But we got snowed in that day, and I got outside just to prove my keep. I got outside and it was shoveling snow all day to make like we're not stuck anymore. We can get out, but it was pretty cool.
Would you find that it was challenging going from different city to different city with different weather acclimations?
No.
Or okay.
No, because I think if amphitheater, if we had weather, I would find a green room, a dressing room.
Okay.
Or or obviously arenas doesn't matter.
True.
Amphitheaters, I'd actually, if we were close to a D1 university, I would actually go call them 2 days prior and set something up where we take the artists to the facility there. And that's the way we stayed out of the weather.
Okay.
Yeah.
And obviously I'm going to get more into tour with you because I think it's really fascinating, especially to bring like a trainer on the road with you.
Yeah.
But what was something that you realized that an artist needed in the world of personal training that differs from the average gym client?
Being around them. I think, my style, if you will, is just be around them and show them what it looks like.
Okay.
And, if I'm around them enough, I think that's when the habit starts changing, because you just kind of hop on board, versus me just being like, hey, do this, do that. But I think just being around them, because even in the gym setting, you don't get to like drive around with them during their day.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When you're touring with them, and I was on the band bus, if they're around me more in a given day, like I just get more time with them. So I think just seeing the habit of what being healthy can look like, is the biggest change of, from that versus being a gym client, I guess.
Mm-hmm. You were on the band bus.
Yeah. Management does it differently. I'm not going to say who, but there's most cases where I was on the band bus, and other cases where I was on the production bus. Whichever bus I was at, those are the ones that typically got better. So whoever I was around, who I could lead by example with, those are the ones who got better.
Mm-hmm. Or would you say you're a strict, do you come up with meal plans for everybody?
No, because I don't really believe meal plans changes the habit.
Okay.
I just try to, let's start with this one habit, prove to me that you can do it for two to 3 weeks, and then we just keep adding. I think if I hand you a meal plan, does it really change the habit? It can be overwhelming. So yeah, I monitor it, but with catering, we had catering in most cases. So, we eat dinner together, we eat lunch together, and I can look across. I'm like, do I really need to say anything? Like, we know we're adults. We know what's good and what's not. So, and then I would ultimately take the client's lead, how much they lean into me about the nutrition side, but.
Well, what I've always thought about is like from a lot of these artists, like for instance, I think you've been on the road with Luke Combs before, right? So I know now, I don't know for a fact because I've never seen what's inside his cup, but I would imagine he is really drinking every night on stage.
No comment.
I know, it's like, does that like get you a little bit?
No, because alcohol, that's an adult decision. Again, if we go back to like just adding small habits, like as simple as protein, making sure we're working out, making sure the sleep's happening, the alcohol is naturally going to decrease. And then ultimately, it's their job to entertain. If that's their thing where they got to drink a little bit, that's probably going to be my last thing I cross. We all know it's also unhealthy. I'm not going to parent you on that. Like, let's just work on these small habits. And I did that very early on, going into it with artists. I'm not going to do the alcohol thing out of the gate.
Sure.
I think it'd probably break trust potentially, right? Of like, geez, we all,
Yeah.
let's target some other stuff that we can add healthy habits to it. So,
who are some other people that you have gone on the road with?
So Lady A was my first one. I toured with them for 2 years. Sam Hunt was 2 years, and then Luke Combs was 2 years as well.
Wow.
So 6 total years. And then I met my wife, I think about year 4 or 5, and quickly learned that's a tough life to be away from. My wife, and we want to have kids, and we do have a third on the way. So
Oh, congratulations!
Thank you. Yeah. So it's been a world of it's fantastic being a dad, and that world, I mean, I know some guys pull it off and kudos to them, you know, but I was starting a business when I was touring, you know, weekend warrior, Wednesday to Sunday. Most people go home and have 2 days off. I was working a full work week into a 3-day condensed week for 6 years.
Wow.
So like, there's no time off at all.
Yeah.
It was build.
Well, and knowing that lifestyle too, I mean, I've never been on such a massive tour before, but I do know like hours are crazy. Like you're up pretty late, and I don't know how often like artists like will sleep in or whatnot, but like I enjoy my sleep. I know that. How does that work when it comes to being the trainer? And I'm sure you guys do try and work out every day.
Yeah.
I mean, would sleep factor into a big issue to whether you guys got a quality session in that day?
Yeah. Everyone's different of how they operate it. You know, I just kind of got with them when the tour started. When do you like to wake up? When, you know, when's your ideal time to work out? I just navigate it that way, have that conversation, and then we set up the frameworks of when we normally are going to work out this time. But as a trainer, or like at least just for me, my habits are go to bed early, wake up early.
Good for you.
On the road is flipped.
Yeah.
So I do believe this. I think you get hired as a trainer to, yes, keep them accountable and all that, but I think there's a social element too. They kind of want you out there to be a little bit social with them and like hang out, be a human being, relate to them a little bit. Part of that is kind of staying up late. That burned me out. That was tough, not against them, but just like I'm flipping my habits, and that was tough.
When do you usually go to bed?
Right now, we're in bed by 9:15, 9:30, and 5 a.m. wake up call for me no matter what day.
Good for you.
Yeah, well, you know, I got to wake up before the kids. And get my work done.
Okay.
Have to, otherwise it doesn't get done.
Yeah.
So.
What would you say, now going back to just touring in general, is probably the number one thing that is most misunderstood about how demanding tour life is for an artist?
Yeah, I guess I don't know what people's initial thought is of, I don't know. That's a tough one, because my initial thought is it that rigorous? It is, you know, but like, because I know, some of them, I don't want to downplay them because they work tremendously hard to even get to the point that they're at, you know what I'm saying? But like tour, there's a lot of waiting around, a lot of sitting around, you know, and some artists will write when they're out there. So there's that element of it. And then there's, I would say I don't want to comment on their workload because from what I see, it could be different, but
everybody's is different.
Everybody's different. Yeah. What I've seen is that most of them will wake up at 10 a.m. and everyone's different. Take this with a grain of salt.
Oh yeah, just like this is probably just like a broad idea.
And every day's different. So with even
10 a.m. makes a lot of sense. I mean, I know a lot of artists, and I feel like that's like a gold time of like when people, because they're up really late. That's
because that's where what I've learned is that's their creative time too, to potentially come up with ideas and maybe write. I've noticed they kind of wake up at 10, breakfast, workout, or take their time, maybe do some work and then work out in the afternoon, and then it's, you know, the sound check. That's what I'm thinking.
Okay, yeah.
Sound check at 2 or 3 o'clock, and then, you know, the showtime at, I don't know, meet and greet, all that stuff. So I mean, they probably work from 2 to 3. That's a good workload. Yeah. You know, yeah. Absolutely. I guess when I say it out loud, you know what I mean? Right. Yeah, I had to talk through it a little bit.
And when training someone nonstop on tour, like for instance, like Luke Combs, what would you say? Now, I know what I'm about to say is all of them are a priority, but I'm kind of holding your feet to the fire by saying what becomes the biggest priority? Is it endurance, recovery, or mental strength?
Whatever they want.
Really?
Well, like, you know, in terms of what is your goal? Like, what are you trying to achieve? No matter what the goal is, we do want to get stronger on main lifts. Specifically what their goal is, we might do some more cardio, some a little bit less, or we might do a 2 a day. Oh, really? 2 a day?
Yeah.
I mean,
it's probably like what Tim McGraw would do.
I'll just say, Sam, he was a former college athlete. And him and I really worked well together too, of just, you know, I would do every workout with him, and we fed off each other quite a bit. But, you know, that's a goal, right? He just, some guys use touring as like, I can be in the best shape of my life because there's some waiting around during the day. So do we fill it with working out? Do we fill it with them writing, or what, you know what I'm saying? So it can look different for everybody. And that's not putting down anyone who does one a day.
Yeah. You're right. Because for instance, like Sam is very physically fit and he was a college athlete. So I would imagine that's enjoyable for him.
Yeah. I think that gets his creative juices going too,
Versus there's some artists where I'm sure they're like, I'm sure you deal with some people in this world that like don't want to work out.
We deal with people who they work hard, but they don't like it at all.
Yeah.
Like they don't like it, and we try to make it as enjoyable as possible. But and they verbalize that like, I hate this, but I'm still here.
And it makes you feel good after. I think everybody knows that.
Yeah.
Now, since you've worked with artists from like every different stage of career, what have you noticed at all that when there's more pressure to say be more physically fit as fame grows?
I don't think I've really ran into that.
Okay.
Because maybe it's appropriate I don't say names, but I think each individual was very confident in their own skin.
Okay.
And my belief is that they were truly doing this to enhance their vocal cords. That was the feedback I always got, that they just felt it was lubricated the more they worked out. But they were pretty confident whatever size they were for the most part, I guess.
Because I could imagine like as somebody that's on camera and stuff that's something that would naturally as a human, right? Like I think a lot of times like when I've been to a trainer, I hate to admit that it's been because I want to look better, not necessarily always feel better.
That's right.
So, and I could see how in the artist world, that's something that's either placed upon them by a team member saying, hey, we're going to do this, or they naturally over time will be like, I want to do better. Because especially being on the road or being on stage every night is very taxing.
Very taxing.
And so
I don't know how they do it. I don't know how they do it.
Having someone like you, obviously the benefits of looking better, but it does make you feel better and you'll be able to handle a 2 to 3 hour show far better every night.
That's the lever I received more of. I'm doing this to perform better and have the endurance to do it. Yes, they each wanted to look better. That's a natural human thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a very natural human thing. They all wanted that, but I think the focus was like, I just want to perform better. I feel better. And, make me the Energizer Bunny kind of a thing. So there's definitely cardio elements. Back to that question of, yes, get strong on the main lifts, but we added cardio in there so they could do that.
Yeah. What would you say out of any place you've been to work out with somebody, what was the most unconventional place you had to like makeshift a gym?
Ooh. The first one comes to mind was the Arizona Diamondback Stadium. This isn't like that out of the box, but have you ever heard of doing snakes in the stadium?
Okay. Describe it to me because I actually might know. But.
So the Arizona, like a baseball stadium, if you can envision what that, it's a big stadium.
Yeah, big.
You run up the stairs and run back down.
Okay. Slide
over. Do it again.
Into the different sections.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And
who'd you make do that?
Sam did it. And we did a lower body workout in the morning.
Okay.
And then 4 hours later, right before sound check, let's go run the stairs. And we ran the fourth flight, and our legs, we looked at each other shaking. We said we were going to do it. We went to 40. It was like 44. And that was the one that kind of stands out just because I'll never forget that moment. I think like a song came on that he first initially wrote on the very last flight of stairs. And it was a pretty cool moment because we were getting after it and we were tired as hell.
Yeah, I can only imagine.
Yeah, but it was... Yeah, but I mean, all of it was pretty makeshift. That weight card allowed us to go wherever, and it just kind of felt like every day was kind of makeshift.
Yeah. How do you tailor workouts for different artists that want different results? For instance, I'm sure maybe say Luke just wants to be a little bit more on stage, just to be able to get through a longer show, versus Sam is a far more active on the stage, going back and forth.
Yeah.
So there's a difference between, I would imagine, training for stage presence versus longevity of a show or whatever the case is.
Keeping it fun. I think some get really in tune with want to lift more, but I'll just say, Luke, we played basketball quite a bit to keep it competitive.
Okay. Yeah.
We still got our weights in, but I think to keep him engaged, keeping it fun with competitive and just kind of backyard stuff.
That's fun.
Him and I would throw shoulders at each other playing bat, and he loved it. Like he fed
I didn't
off
know he
that,
liked basketball like that.
Yeah, he can shoot that little fadeaway. I'm like, okay, Luke.
Okay.
He'll drive. Yeah, he'll play. He'll think it's rugby, so you better come shoes tied tight. Because he'll come down that hole and just lean that shoulder into it.
That's
so you got to be ready.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And now talking about, for instance, Lady A, because that's different. That's a group.
Yeah.
How does that differ from having a solo artist that you work with on the road versus dealing with 3 personalities, 3 that clearly need different attentions met, different workouts, a woman versus a man?
Yeah.
I mean, that's different.
Yeah, it is. So, I mean, I had Hillary separate most times, solo. Okay. And then most of the time, Charles and Dave would be together with the band. Mm-hmm. There's some times where they wanted to go separate, but, every other group, well, I guess Luke was solo. Sam was kind of could be solo, but he had the band come together a little bit, so it was like kind of a group thing too. So
okay.
Everyone's all pretty different, but yeah, I mean, when there's a specific goal, kind of we try to separate it. Yeah, that way the one-on-one time can happen.
I didn't think about that. I was like, I wondered, like, how does that work with like 2 guys, a girl, obviously probably not wanting to do all the same things.
Yeah, and I can make it work. I mean, that's my job to juggle that, and I, up to a certain point, I can make it work. Like, yeah.
Is there an artist transformation, whether that was physical or mental, that you are really proud of?
I want to.
Sure all
the politically correct answer. I want to say all of them.
Of course, yeah.
And I truly mean that. Just because you see what day one was like, and they all, by the end of the tour, being around them, I just felt every single one of them improved quite a bit in their own different ways. And attendance for me, they were very good when I was there. So like the fact that they don't miss a ton of workouts when I was there, I'm like, that's what I'm proud about. I am going to give you the politically correct answer because I don't want to measure of like who did it better.
Oh no, of course, and I don't even mean that. That's what I mean. Mentally too.
Yeah,
I think that's part of it is being able to tackle the daily tour and artist struggles that happen day to day, no matter through, because they're worrying about their career. There's other things than just, so being able to show up and being able to give it their all or give anything sometimes. I think sometimes 50% is all you can get out of somebody that day.
Because their workload is, it can be gruesome out there, right? So, I mean, the fact that they show up and put the work in, I'm proud of that. Like, pumped for them. And when you stack that many good days in a row on the road, the good things come. So,
is there a favorite tour memory you have from a city or...
Yeah. At the end of the 9-month tour with Lady A, my first tour ever, I do magic, like kind of.
Oh yeah, no, wait, no, that's awesome.
I only went on one spring break trip in my life. It was like at my buddy's grandparents. I bought a magic trick deck.
Okay, I love
So I
this.
learned magic, and I did it with the band guys of Lady A. I would turn the hard rock music on, like Disturbed. And I'd go into character a little bit. And they asked me like, hey, do you want to do a magic show at the end of the year tour party? And I've only done magic in front of 3 to 5 people. So the fact that I did it in front of 83 people,
wow,
I was very nervous. And if I'm just putting it out there, I was drinking probably too much because I was so nervous. And they did like the whole smoke machine for me, and that was pretty cool. Just because they did involve me quite a bit.
Yeah.
And, they all made, every group always made me part of like the family part. So, but the magic thing was probably up there.
And that was that your first time on the road with them?
The first time ever, on the road.
Did you do it on the second round too?
No.
No.
No, I just, because I'm kind of a one-trick pony. I have about 5 tricks, and like that's all I got.
Are they all card tricks?
Yeah, all card, yeah.
Card.
Yeah.
Well, now that you say that, that's funny. Like I hire a magician every year for my Friendsgiving.
Yeah, nice.
At my house. And I was like, and I just saw like on TikTok, that's like becoming like a trend. I go, who told that I did this?
Yeah.
That's cool that you do magic.
Yeah, well, it's not, I mean, give it a C level kind of magic. You gotta lean into the character though. And that's what the energy I try to bring, I guess.
Would you sit down with, for instance, obviously every client needs something different.
Yeah.
Do you sit down and have a discussion of what goals are before going into it?
Yeah. The first week that happens.
Yeah.
Before like the first session even, when we go to wherever we're working out, that conversation's happening. And then it is always kind of ongoing, even with clients in town, you know.
Sure.
It is important to always bring it up. Do you enjoy what we're doing? Is there anything we want to add? Goals change, seasons change.
Big time.
What's your current goal right now? So that's a thing that I even encourage our team to always communicate with clients and just revisit that conversation always. That way, when we come into the session, we are on the same page. We're attacking. We're on the same path.
Yeah.
You know, so 60 minutes, I value their time. I value every penny they pay us. And we just want to make sure we're knocking that out of the park of being extremely efficient towards what they want.
Speaking of when you just said 60 minutes, which I guess is very common, do you ever do workouts usually go over that or is it under that? What is that? Or is 60 usually the typical?
On the road, there's times where it's probably, hey, I got 30 to 45 minutes. Copy. Let's go. You know, there's some that we would lift a little bit longer and go like an hour and 20 minutes. And, you know, cardio would never be that long, but sometimes the weightlifting, if, you know, we're trying to lift heavier and take our time a little bit, we would sometimes go to an hour and 20, but I think 60 minutes for the most part, you should be able to get in, get out.
Okay.
You know?
So an artist says they've only got 30 minutes. What do you cut? What do you keep in the workout?
Yeah, boy, it's the warm-up's probably going to be cut in half.
Okay.
You know, it's just a little bit, and then we're just not going to lift as much weight. It's going to be just some basic movements with we're probably not going to touch a barbell. It's going to be dumbbell stuff, and short rest times kind of a thing, you know.
Okay.
And it's different with everyone, because if I have 30 minutes with a different guy, we might hit a quick warm-up and then one main lift, and then the last 10 minutes is something to get his heart up, I guess, you know.
Do you do burpees?
No.
Oh,
no.
oh,
Yeah.
awesome.
Nothing against it, but I think there's a lot of other ways. Because I think at the end of the day, I know there's a huge bad rep on burpees. I don't do them. But I think, you know, I come from a wrestling background as well.
Okay.
Where you're doing a lot of crawling, and I think there's good to have ownership in how your body moves, which is body weight, and burpees can be one of them, you know. I think where people run into issues is when general population or people who aren't strong enough to do a proper push-up are doing burpees, and you load them with volume and then they get hurt.
Sure.
I know that's kind of, we're getting
No. It's still.
But I think like for an athlete, there can be a time where you can sprinkle it in there to give them a burst of cardio. You know? So
how do you work around injury?
does it hurt? Nope. Let's keep doing it. Does it hurt? Yep. All right, let's find something else.
Okay.
I don't try to diagnose, you know, if, oh, this is hurting. I'm not sitting there trying to like continually ask questions and diagnosing like what it is.
Yeah.
I go by pain tolerance of like, where are we at? Does it feel good? If yes, then cool.
Have you had an artist get hurt on the road?
Oh.
Like on stage or something that has been an issue? Because I always think naturally, like, and I'm not saying this happened to her, but I always think like women in their heels on stage.
Yeah, that's
or
a scary
like an
thing.
ankle or something that could have, I mean, I see plenty of artists slip and fall on stage.
Yeah.
And has that ever come into play for you?
No, I don't remember. I can't recall anything of that nature. Obviously, you know, the older we get, we have some lingering things that are, you know, but that's not what you're.
No.
Nothing that got injured on stage or under my watch either. That I recall at least. Yeah.
Have you enjoyed, I mean, I'm sure you're going to say yes, but did you enjoy getting into the industry and like kind of becoming a quote unquote celebrity trainer?
Oof. I always correct people when they say celebrity, that C word. I don't, I didn't really make a big, I don't know. Yes, it was cool because at the end of the day, it was an environment that I just didn't think I belonged in, or, you know, it was it seems like a different world because, you know, you'd go out there and you did feel like a little bit of a rock star. You'd bring friends out, they see that little badge and you're kind of like, I don't know, you feel like different. And then you come home and you're just kind of Kevin again. But, I don't know. It was the funny part when I was on the band bus, we'd get to a city, we'd walk off or whatever. And, you know, the band guys look like band guys.
Sure.
And quite often they're like, well, who's that guy? You know? So I felt like I kind of stuck out like a sore thumb sometimes, but
That's okay.
yeah.
And another thing that I really realized, especially from personal experience from working with trainers, that you see artists and people sometimes on some of their hardest days during their hardest times, especially with like mental exhaustion. Where would you say the line is for you where you show sometimes more emotional support than physical support?
Yeah, that's just a feel thing, right? Because read the room when you feel like they need just that emotional support, you take that, and you don't really push we must work out,
right?
Because the emotional support is half the battle, and if they just need that, and like
especially for sensitive artists, I mean, it's true. Artists are sensitive.
You said it. Yeah. No, that's a real thing too. And, I think there's been a few times where it's just going for a walk and just talking, you know what I mean? And that's got to be a win for that day, to where if they don't have it in them, like that's just, you got to adjust a little bit too.
Well, I was just about to say that. I was saying that there is something interesting because you say that you even like to make the relationships with the people that you're on the road with more personal and like hang out with them, integrate into their life, not just be like the trainer.
Yeah.
And what do you think it is that would make an artist want to open up more to say they're a personal trainer than someone on their team? Is it because you do a lot of physical with them? And because I find that there are times where you can work out so hard that you can come to tears. Like there are times where I think the mental and physical part of working out sometimes bleed into each other.
Yeah. You're asking the artist can sometimes open up to the trainer before someone else.
Yes.
Yeah. When you sweat together with someone, even if I'm just leading the session, there's a psychological thing to where it's just kind of easier to open up to someone about that. And I don't know. I think when you spend that much time around someone too, that's another element of why it gets easier. So, and my job is to also make it feel comfortable to where you can bring up anything, and I got no judgment.
Great.
And like I'll provide feedback, and if you're asking for advice, I'll give advice. But like sometimes they just want to be a soundboard.
Absolutely.
They just unload all. So and then the most important part is confidentiality.
Yeah.
Because whatever you say to me, that stays right here.
Absolutely.
I'm not telling anyone else. So, and I think when you can build a reputation of that word will go out as well. And I think I have experienced clients who are pretty quick to open up because that has been
of course
the word of mouth too. So
yeah. What's a moment for you in your career, especially, being a part of the industry just in a different way where it was more than fitness?
I think, I guess not the early years of touring, but I'd say the late years when I would bring my wife and it kind of showed like the production team, the artists, like they actually care about what's going on in my personal life a little bit to where that they showed interest in that made it a little bit easier to be out on the road as well because, I'm a human too. You know what I mean? So like I'm a soundboard a lot to clients, but like when they can reciprocate that of like, I'm human too. And they show some love of like, hey, Julianne, like good to see you. And they learn about her a little bit, and that goes a long way for me too. And it makes it way more, than just the job or the trainer part of it, I guess.
Yeah. Has your wife and children gone on the road at all with you?
Nope. Because I think 2019 was my last year touring.
Okay.
And we got married in 2021.
Okay.
And then our first boy was born the year after. And then we, So I've been pretty far removed from the touring world.
Sure. What was your earliest call time for an artist on the road?
For morning to train? Oh boy. Not early. I mean, probably like 9 a.m.
Okay.
I mean, but I normally wake up at 5, so I'm like, the day's gone.
You already lived the whole day.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'd probably say 9 a.m., but that didn't happen that often.
Okay.
It's probably like 11 a.m.
Now, without saying who you've ever worked with about this, but it'd be fun if you did, but if you don't, I get it. What was the most like unhinged snack you've seen, tour snack that people were eating that you were like, no?
Nothing in particular, but like the bags of candy, like in
candy.
the green room at times, and like even on the bus. I don't have that much discipline. If it's around me, like I'm gonna probably eat it.
Yeah.
Get it off the bus.
Yeah.
I can't think of anything like that outlandish of. But if there's bags of candy, yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so obviously you've trained off and on the road.
Yeah.
What would you say is probably more difficult to train? Someone who is new to the artist world or a superstar?
They're different in their own right a little bit.
Okay, well tell me the differences a little bit.
Well, I guess superstars are the only ones I guess have worked with for the most part. I'm trying to think of like the openers, I guess. The openers are obviously very humble, very bashful a little bit, and like they're just good with whatever, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So like, true.
They're
probably just looking to make sure to not mess up in any way.
They feel pumped that they're being included in working out. So like, I don't have anything crazy to say about them, but and I'm gonna say this so respectful, but artists, they get used to their ways, and
they are the star too.
They're the star. Like that's a reason why we have our jobs. You know what I'm saying? Like, so they can say whatever they want.
Yeah.
And so they got opinions, and I didn't get anything too crazy, but like sometimes they have an opinion that shakes things up, and it's like I don't take it ever personally, but like you just kind of audible and all right.
Okay, now what's one exercise that artists have hated that you've made them do, but they need to do as an artist, like to
farmers walks. That's comes to my mind.
What's a farmer's walk?
Just pick up heavy weight and walk with it.
Okay.
Yeah. Time and time again, my little guitar hands. Why are we doing that? This is the most pointless exercise out there. That's what I get that one a lot. That's the one that I think of immediately, a farmer walk.
And most hate it.
Most hate it, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's a good conditioning tool. It's a good for posture. Grip strength is good for, deadlifting, pull-ups, all that stuff. So there's a rhyme and reason behind it without getting too crazy.
No, for sure. Yeah. What's something else that you would say is not necessarily that they hate, but what's like the number one workout that you love to implement for people on the road?
I think it's kind of a general thing here. Leg days. They hate leg days because obviously it's just hard.
I get it though. I don't like them either.
But I remind them we do legs because it's hard to find that intensity on your own. That's why I'm here to do it safely, but find the intensity. So that can kind of fall under the farmer's walk. They don't like doing the leg days. Okay. But we do it because they got to fit in the skinny jeans too,
They sure do.
Easy there, Klug. Easy. Not trying to get
No. What would you say? Why do you think having a personal trainer is essential for an artist?
What I've seen is because some just don't do it then. The accountability of keeping them consistent, the accountability of finding that right intensity, knowing to back off, knowing to gas them a little bit, keep them on the path of being healthy. They have enough stuff to focus on. Yeah. And, even me, I feel like I should hire a trainer because you just get so much stuff you're thinking about, you're trying to be good at, and not to make it about me, but I hired a business coach because I want, I got enough stuff going on. I want someone to coach me. So, when you bring on a personal trainer, it just enhances your fitness side and your health side of things. So, yeah.
What advice would you give maybe to a young artist going out on the road about chasing longevity?
I would gather some context if are they working out, because I think as hard as it is to dial in your sleep as a young artist, can we control that? Can we get better at at least a consistent pattern of sleep? Obviously, I said the alcohol thing, that'll be my last thing, but are we working out regularly, right? Because if you work out regularly, that's going to give you the longevity to do the schedule that the artist is asked of to do, so just to stay consistent with the basics, work out, sleep, the nutrition side of thing, and getting your protein in, hydrating, water, all that stuff. Yeah. Master the basics, really.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And one last question, Kevin. Thank you so much, by the way. This has been fun. This is interesting.
Yeah. It's easy.
This has been really, really fun. Yeah. How do you hope artists describe the impact you've made on them?
I hope that they, I don't know, Yeah, that's a good question. I hope I think I got to believe that they know that I care. I hope that they always believe that. And I hope that, when I'm not working with them anymore, they learned enough that they can go into the weight room on their own and do it themselves.
Yeah.
And like, I kept it simple enough so when they go in and they see a weight room, that they know what to do. Mm-hmm. If they can do that, my job is good. I'm good.
Well, that's great.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, Kevin. This was fun. I mean, this was different because I have, everybody from managers to stylists to videographers on, but this is a part of the industry that I think a lot of people may know is there, but they don't know completely everything that goes into it, especially when it comes to big artists like Luke Combs or Lady A. Like, that's a big deal to go on the road and have to, manage their schedule and having to figure out to fit in on how to stay healthy. So thank you for being on the show of What's Mine Is Yours.
It was an honor to be here, and thank you for inviting me.
Of course. Thanks, Kevin.
Thank you.